Buying a franchise feels exciting. You're about to become your own boss. Get it wrong though, and it's not just a bad investment, it's a horror story. Your life savings gone, tied to a business that was never what you were told it was. My name's Emile. I run a kids basketball franchise network with 19 active franchisees, and last year alone, we knocked back 13 potential franchisees that we didn't felt match our culture. So today, I'm giving you the 5-step finder's checklist that tells you if a franchise is legit or if something smells fishy. Point number 1, do your research before you buy. I cannot tell you how many people, when they're looking into a franchise, because they're excited, happy, emotional, they don't do their research. You got to do your research. Now, there are 4 parts of your research that I recommend you do. Let me get into them. I'm going to call them A, B, C, and D. Let's get into A. A is Google. Search the brand thoroughly throughout Google. Look at their website, look at their founding story, look at anything that points to the company website. You're going to do a deep dive into Google about the brand and about the company. Let's move into B. B is LinkedIn. You want to look on LinkedIn on the founder of the company. You want to look at franchisees, see what they're posting, right? See how long they've been in the company. LinkedIn is a great source to look up each profile of the franchisees and the founder. Let's move to C. C is look into the franchise disclosure registry for the company. Now, not many people know that franchisors, we have to disclose everything. It's actually mandatory on what's called the franchise disclosure registry. It's an online portal that you can use, and it can give you valuable information like when the brand was established, how many active franchisees, what territories, how many franchisees have been sold, are there any litigations, criminal actions, everything, all the dirty laundry is on the franchise disclosure registry, and all franchise companies must update this once a year. If you don't know what it is, guys, if you never used it, I've actually made a video before. Click the link in the description. It will show you how to use the disclosure registry, and I recommend you go there and search up the brand you're interested in investing. And point D is Google reviews. What you want to do when you're investing into a franchise brand is look at their Google reviews. Do they have raving fans? Are there people that love the product or love the service? If you go onto their Google review page and you see a whole bunch of 1-star reviews saying poor service, poor product, and everything else, that might be a red flag for you. So actually make sure that the product or service they have, which is what's going to impact your revenue directly, has raving customers and raving fans. So knowing where to look online is the first step, but the second step is more important, and it actually happens the moment you make an inquiry with the brand. Let's get into point number 2. Point number 2, what is the franchise recruitment process like? If the franchise brand has more steps for you to go through to qualify and get to the franchise agreement, massive green flag, massive green flag. You know what that means? It means they're selective with which franchisees they bring into their brand. And any network that is selective with their franchisees is a long-term brand that you want to invest in. Because at the end of the day, the strength of a franchise network is based on the quality of the franchisees. I'll say that one more time. The strength of a franchise brand is directly related to the quality of the franchisees. One bad franchisee in a network can ruin the entire brand. So if you notice that there's a lot of different gates that you need to get through to get to the next step, that's a green flag. However, if from the moment you inquire, there's already a deposit required to be made and it feels rushed and it feels like, oh shoot, that's quite quick, that might be a red flag. It might mean that the franchise brand is not thinking long-term, doesn't care about the quality of the franchisees it brings in a network, and is purely focusing on the franchise sale. So I'll give you an example with us of how it works from the moment someone inquires to when they become a franchisee. They usually start by downloading a PDF or downloading some type of resource. One of our team members give them a call. They book a 15-minute discovery call with me. After that, they do a 30-minute online business presentation with myself where I walk them through the business model. And then there's an opportunity to put a $3,000 refundable both ways deposit for us to hold their area for 30 days. The next step is what I call a TBI, our 3-day test before you invest workshop. They come down to one of our classes for 3 days, tag alongside a franchisee. It's a little bit of like a day in the life series to see if this is something that they can commit to. There's also some homework they need to do, such as calling 3 franchisees, watching podcast video. And then the last step there is franchise agreement, where we issue them an agreement. So there's a whole bunch of gates and steps that they need to go through before they get to the end. That's what I like to call a really thorough and selective recruitment process to make sure that we are bringing the right franchisees on board. Hey guys, I've created a franchise success blueprint. It's a PDF that has a ton of information about our franchise. It's also got a pretty cool case study from one of our franchisees. Click the link below to access it. I hope you enjoy. And by the way, guys, just so you know, when we do issue a franchise agreement, by law, you're not allowed to sign it straight away. There's what's called a 14-day consideration period. And if they're rushing you to sign after they've issued a franchise agreement, that's a massive red flag, because legally you have to have 14 days to review the agreement, right? The Franchise Code of Conduct put those 14 days in there to stop people from forcing them to sign and to actually do your due diligence, research, and look up the franchise agreement. So the moment a franchise agreement is issued, you're not allowed to sign it. You have to go through your 14-day consideration period. Then, after 14 days, all the parties are allowed to sign the franchise agreement. So this process tells you a lot, but there's one group of people that are going to tell you the real truth of the brand. Let's get into the next point. Point number 3, ask to speak to franchisees and see how they respond. So what part of our requirement is when a franchisee or is becoming a franchisee, they need to call 3 franchisees from our database. We have put every single franchisee on our database, people that are selling, people that might not be happy with us. Everybody's there, and the person can call any 3 franchisees. In fact, they have to call 3 franchisees. It's not even optional. Now, if the brand that you're looking at investing doesn't suggest you call franchisees, or is hiding or not letting you call franchisees, or gives you only a selective number of franchisees, the ones that they've already kind of said, hey, by the way, if someone calls you, can you talk about the brand? Massive red flag. You should be able to call any franchisee you want and ask honest and sincere questions. And if you're wondering what questions should I be asking the franchisees, don't just ask them about revenue and profit, go over that. But questions such as, how has head office support been? Do you feel supported in tough times? Is there anything that caught you unexpected from the moment you signed the agreement? How would you rate the head office support out of 10? Where do they support you? Were there any fees that you didn't know about prior to signing the agreement that came after you signed the agreement? These are all great questions to ask franchisees, and believe me, franchisees will tell you the honest truth. So talking to real franchisees will expose a lot, but there's one sales tactic that if you hear, I would immediately stop talking with the brand. Point number 4, be wary of earnings guarantee. If any brand or franchise company is promising you revenue or profit, you'll make your return on investment in 6 months guaranteed. You'll make $100,000 in your first year guaranteed. I would run the other way. And if you want data, the number 1 legal proceeding in the court systems right now in franchising, you want to know what it is? Misrepresentation of data. Do you know what that means? The franchisor said that they were going to earn this. The franchisee came into the network and did not earn that figure. And I'm not kidding you. Go search it up. It's the number 1 legal proceeding right now, misrepresentations of the fact, because franchisors promise something and it doesn't happen. The reality of why I'm so against an earnings guaranteed is, number 1, location matters. To a certain extent, it does. The demands of the business does vary depending on the territory you purchase. But number 2, and this is most important, a lot of the success is up to the individual franchisee. And the individual franchisee has to make the business work. And a lot of the times that is out of the control of the franchisor. I'll give you a great example. If leads come into your business, we recommend our franchisees call every lead within 60 seconds because you've got the highest chance of converting them. But I can't force a franchisee to call a lead within 60 seconds. If a franchisee decides to call a lead in 2 or 3 days and doesn't win the work and then comes back to head office saying my business is dry, that puts us in a sticky position. So it's very hard for us to guarantee income because the success of a franchise is really dependent on the individual franchisee. So income guarantee is one of the biggest red flags that you need to be wary of. Let me tell you what the second biggest red flag is. Point number 5, are they transparent about the marketing levy? So most franchise brands will have a marketing fund that all franchisees need to contribute. It's mandatory, and each franchisee has to contribute a certain amount into this marketing fund. How it works, it might be 5% of revenue. Each franchisee has to contribute to this pool, and then the franchisor gets this money and invests it on behalf of the franchisees for national-wide programs, and then reports to the franchisees the success of the marketing campaign. Now, this trips up a lot of people, and a lot of franchisees don't know before they come into agreement that a marketing fund exists, and it's probably one of the highest fee-eating, whatever you want to call it, the highest recurring fees that happen in a franchise network, except the royalty fee. So they need to really be transparent to you if there is any major recurring fees, such as a marketing fund or a royalty fee. And by the way, a couple of years ago, a famous franchise brand, Michelle's Patisserie, they had a marketing fund where all franchisees were contributing into this marketing fund. And legally, by law, if you're a franchisor, you have to invest that into marketing. It can't be used for anything else. You can't take that marketing fee and say, hey, we want to upgrade head office. That's not marketing. So Michelle's Patisserie were investing that marketing fund into underperforming franchise stores, and franchisees were getting upset saying, hey, why is my marketing dollars funding the low-performing franchisees? Massive court proceeding, long story short, they're no longer in business. So you need to make sure that whichever brand you're investing in, they're transparent about the recurring fees. So that's it, guys. That brings us to the end of the video. What I want you to do for me is drop in the comments which green flag or red flag surprised you the most. And if you like this video, I've made a similar video not too long ago about the new ACCC rules that every franchise buyer needs to know. Click on the link below to watch it. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.